Happy Tuesday, friends. Welcome to Daily Devos. So glad to have you join me. Well, because you're watching Daily Devos, I want to honor you and give you a sneak peek at what is coming this Sunday. We are launching our fall study, and you know we've been loving McLean County. Well, we have revised that, and we're excited about it. Our staff's been collaborating, and you're going to see that rebranding this Sunday. So get ready. It's going to be exciting. You're going to have the opportunity to actually put your address on the map and say that you are in, you catch the vision, join a group, and love my community. So get ready, it's coming. Don't miss services on Sunday. Well, you guys, today I'm talking to you again from the same passage from Sunday, John 9. And my question today for you is, how do you respond to Jesus? Or maybe someone that you know, how do they respond to Jesus? And the story that we read about in John 9, where Jesus heals the blind man, the reactions that we see in the story are very similar to what we do today. The same kinds of responses personally and around us. And so there are 5 different people that we see in this story: the disciples, his neighbors, the Pharisees, his parents, and then the blind man. And so we look at their responses to Jesus in this passage. The disciples looked at this as God's punishment. And there was a common belief among the Jewish culture that if you had suffering in your life, it was because of something you had done. It was because of sin. And maybe that's you. Maybe you have thought over time that I'm going through this hardship right now because of something I've done in my past, some kind of sin. And this is God's way of punishing me. It's God's way to get back at me. So maybe that's you today, or maybe that's someone that you know, how they're viewing Jesus. And then we look at the neighbors. They had skepticism, they had disbelief. And when they saw the blind man healed, they said, no, that's not that man. That's not the blind man, the beggar that we remember. That's someone else. That's not really who was healed. And then we look at the Pharisees. And the Pharisees, they debated, they refused to believe. Because they couldn't have the answers, they just said, Jesus, he's just an ordinary sinner. And maybe that's you. Maybe you don't recognize the power that Jesus has, or you know someone that just can't give Jesus the credit for who he is. And then there were the parents. And the parents kept silent because they were afraid. They were afraid of what people would think about them. They were afraid of their reputation with the Pharisees, that if they spoke up and said they believed in Jesus, that it would change their position. And maybe that's you today. Maybe you don't speak up because you're afraid that you'll lose your popularity, you'll lose your position, or someone will think differently about you. And then there's the blind man. The blind man, he had simple faith. And his testimony was this: all I know is I once was blind and now I see. And Jesus is the one that healed me. And he just had this very simple, growing faith that Jesus is who he said he was. And so Jesus uses this beautiful story to show us and teach us how through suffering, he taught us about faith and how to glorify God. And so hopefully you find yourself in one of those people today, and you are encouraged by the blind man, and you remember your testimony of what God has done in your life and has shown his faithfulness, not because of what you've done or you haven't done, but just because of his great love for you. So be encouraged in that today, friends. Have a great day. Can't wait to see you Sunday.